Jai Hind everyone. My name is Dr. Ashish Dixit. Today I will discuss about the big data analytics, and the topic is the Hadoop. So, dear students, this topic is related to a current era because you know very well that's a huge amount of data will be running on a different types of platform like social media, like e-commerce website, like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and how it will be managed, because the whole data is in the form of distributed system. So here we will discuss about the big data analysis, and topic is related to a Hadoop. Okay. So we will cover different types of contents like history of Hadoop, Apache Hadoop, Hadoop distributed file, we can say that SDFS, and component of the Hadoop, data format, analyzing data with the Hadoop scaling out, Hadoop streaming, Hadoop pipes, and Hadoop ecosystem. So here we will introduce the Hadoop. A Hadoop is an open source framework that will be developed by the Apache Software Foundation that allow for the distributed storage and the processing of the large data set. Using a cluster of computers, it designed to handle vast amount of data across many different types of machine, providing the scalability, fault tolerance, and the high availability. So, if we want to see the history of the Hadoop, then first of all in 2002, Duff cutting the make Caprella, the Apache Nudge project expense was not affordable. Then in 2003, GFS research paper, half solution large data storage by the web crawling or a web indexing. And third thing, in 2004, another paper, MapReduce, another half solution distributed file system. In 2005, 20 to 40 cluster limitation of the project plus Yahoo, only 2 people more manpower needed. In 2006, officially joined the Yahoo, and Hadoop came into the existence of the open source scalable or a reliable framework. In 2007 was the cluster. In 2008, Apache Software Foundation will be developed in a 4,000 nodes clusters. In 2009, the PB of the data in the less than 17 hours. So here we have a different types of challenges before the given a solution of the Hadoop. So different types of challenges is like a single central storage, it's a very big challenge. Single processing is also have the challenge, and lack of ability to process the unstructured data, because a Hadoop will be manage unstructured data. That's why it's the biggest challenges. So these types of challenges provided by the different types of solution, like a solution distributed storage means some data is also available in this machine, some data is also available in another machine, and some data is also to another machine, but these are connected with each other on a centralized level. Okay, then we will also use the parallel processing concept. A parallel processing concept like A and B are 2 inputs, and after the process we will give in a 1 outputs. Then second thing, the ability to process of every type of data. So we can say that Apache Hadoop is an open source framework that is used to efficient store and process large data set. Ranging in the size from the gigabyte to the petabyte of the data. Instead of the using one large computer to the store and process of the data. Hadoop allows a cluster in multiple computers to analyze the massive data in a parallel mode computing. So here we will discuss about the advantages of the Hadoop. So if we see that this diagram, then first of all, Hadoop will be cover a different types of point, means cost effectiveness. If we use the Hadoop for unstructured data, then first of all, cost will be play a very important role. Second thing, scalability. How to measure a data? This will be considered by the scalability concept. And next thing, flexibility. Means you can use a data one form to different form, means a data will be flexible. Next, speed up ratio, the accessing speed and processing speed will be maintained. The fault tolerance, we can say that if we will use the Hadoop concept, then chances of the fault will be rare of the rarest. Next thing, we can say that the speed up ratio is also called a high throughput. And next thing, last, minimum network traffic. If we use the Hadoop concept, then everyone know that if we will provide unstructured data on a different types of machines like a different types of platforms, then how it will be managed and how it will be managed by the network. So here we will manage the minimum traffic network. Okay, these are different types of points. So again, we can say that which types of disadvantages of the Hadoop when we will use for unstructured data. Then first of all, if a problem with a small files, then Hadoop will be provide a best solution, but it's a more time taken process and we use a maximum to maximum resources. These resources will be utilized for a large amount of data, but here related to a file also have a small size. I think no need for a Hadoop, because a Hadoop is also depend on the different types of large structure, and if we will use the Hadoop, then definitely its costing will be increase. Second thing, we will use the small data surrounding. So here main concept is a small data surrounding concept. It's a totally depend on the data that will be occur in a different types of environment that will be created. Second thing, a high up processing speed. Third thing, a vulnerability. Next thing, a security, and next thing, a batch processing. So main concept is a problem with the small files. A Hadoop store the file in the form of file blocks, which are from the 128 MB in the size by default to 256 MB. Hadoop fails when it need to access the small size file in a large amount. Okay. Next thing, vulnerability. A Hadoop is a framework that is written in a Java, and Java is one of the most commonly used programming language, which makes it more insecure as it can be easily exploited to be any of the cyber criminals. Next thing, we can say that a low performance in data, small data surrounding. So here its efficiency decrease while performing in a small data surrounding. Next thing, lack of security, because data is everything for an organization. By default, the security, if the security features are not properly work, then made unavailable. So Hadoop uses Cabros for security features, which is not easy to manage. Next thing, high up processing speed, means read and write operation in a Hadoop is moderate since we are dealing with the large size of data. that is in TB or a PB. So Hadoop, the data read or write done from the disk, which makes it difficult to perform in memory calculation and lead the processing overhead or a high up processing. Next thing, supports only batch processing. The batch processing is nothing but the process that are running in the background and does not have any kind of interactions. So, with the user, the engines used for these process inside the Hadoop core is not that much efficient. Then producing the data, the output with low latency is not possible with it. So, here we will discuss about the Hadoop distributed file system. We can say that this is called the Hadoop distributed file system. Is the primary storage system used by the Hadoop application. This open source framework, by rapidly transferring the data between nodes, it's often used by companies who need to handle and store a big data. So, HDFS is a key component of many Hadoop systems. It also provides a different types of managing a big data as well as supporting of the big data analytics and how it will be managed of the different types of data on a social media, on a web media, on a digital media, on a e-commerce websites. So, the purpose of the Hadoop is different types like how to manage a large data set. So, second thing, detecting of faults, hardware efficiency. So, these are different types of points that here we will discuss. So, manage the large data set, organizing and storing of the data set can be hard task to handle. HDFS is used to is how to manage the application that have to deal with the huge data set. To do this, HDFS should have hundreds of nodes per clusters. Next thing, detecting faults, HDFS should have a technology in place of scan and detect the faults quickly and effectively, as it includes a large number of commodity hardwares, hardware failure of the component and is a common issues. So, here a hardware issue and hardware efficiency, when large data sets are involved, it can reduce the network traffic and increase the processing speed. Next thing, we will discuss about the Hadoop file system, HDFS. So, always kept in mind that we have one client, this is called the HDFS client. HDFS client and name node both are communicated bidirectionally. A client sends the request to the name node for the communication or for access the data from the local disk. So, here a name node communicate to a client and after the request, name node communicated to a data node. Okay, these are our data nodes, and data nodes also have different types of files. These files will be exist in a local disk. Okay, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. These data node have some similar types of file that we will call the replicate file, replication. These files will be managed by the local disk, and after the communication between the local disk and data node, the whole information will be given by the name node, and name node also given the information to the client. Okay. And next thing, we will consider a component of the Hadoop. So here, Hadoop distributed file system is the storage unit, and Hadoop MapReduce is the distributed processing unit. That also work means Hadoop is also work on the distributed storage system. MapReduce is also work on the behalf of distributed processing, and yarn provided distributed scheduling means at another resources negotiator means this will be provide another resources that will be where work that will be used for different types of work that will be done, and which types of processor will be apply for a work, and which types of processor will be provide a scheduling. So here these concept will be work means yarn will be work as a resource management, okay. So this concept is called the ADF component of the HDFS. Here we will consider the different types of mode, like how to data access. Second thing, how to data storage. Next thing, interaction, visualization, execution development, data serialization concept, and data intelligence. Here we will use a different type of language like a PIZ, Hive, HBase, Cassandra, Hcatalog, Lucene, Hama, Crunch, Avro, Thrift, Drill, and Mahout. So here we will use a Java virtual machine for a JVM, and we will use a different types of operating system like Red Hat, Ubuntu, and Windows. So always kept in mind, here we will use some concept like a data integration, and second thing management, monitoring, and orchestration means how to integrate a data. So here we will use some concept like Scoop, Flume, and Chukwa. These are data integration module. And if we have seen the concept of the management and monitoring and orchestration, then we will use the Ambari, Zookeeper, and Uzi. Okay. Again, we will use a data format. So in the SDFS, we will use different types of data format. So here we will use a format Avro, Packet, ORC, and Carbon data. Column not available, Paraquet we will consider, ORC we will consider, and Carbon data is also considered. Compression, a good, great, excellent, and good. Support, here we will use the Hadoop, Spark, Athena, and Presto. Paraquet, use a Hadoop, Spark, Athena, Presto, and excellent. ORC, Hadoop, Spark, Athena, Presto, and here we will use a Hadoop and Spark. Okay, these are a format. We will use a different types of format. So here we can say that a Hive and Impala tables in SDFS can be created using a different Hadoop file format like a text files. A text file is the most basic and human readable files. It can be read or written in any programming language and is mostly delimited by the comma tab. Next thing, we will use a sequence of the file. So here the sequence file format can be used to store an image in a binary format. Sorry. And are more efficient than our text files. Next thing, we will use the Avro data files. The Avro file format has efficient storage due to optimized binary encoding concept. Next, Paraquet file format. Paraquet is a columnar format developed by the Cloudera and Twitter. It's supported in Spark, MapReduce, Hive, Pig, Impala, and Crunch, and so on. So here we will consider of the some concept like scalability and scaling out. What is the concept of scaling? A scaling concept that will be easily measured, that will easily measured of the any amount of data. So the primary benefit of the Hadoop, it is scalability. One can easily scale the cluster by the adding more nodes. So here we will use the two types of scalability in the Hadoop, vertically scalability and horizontal scalability. So here we will consider a vertical scalability concept. If we see that, suppose that pod small configuration, it's a CPU, it's a 2 GB memory and 100 GB disk. So here we will discuss about the vertical scalability. So firstly we will introduce a 1 CPU, 2 GB memory and 100 GB hard disk. Then it's a pod small configuration. Okay. So if we want to increase vertical level scale up, then we will use some CPUs 1, 2, 3, 4 CPUs, and every CPU also have a 2 GB memory. Then here we will use a 8 GB memory and also use a 1 GB. So here we will use a 8 GB memory and also use a 4 CPU. So here we will consider a 5 GB, a 400 GB hard disk. Okay. So here we will consider that the vertical, it is also referred to as a scale up. In a vertical scaling, you can increase the hardware capacity of the individual machine. In other words, you can add more RAM and CPU to your existing, make it more robust and powerful system. So here a pod is an abstraction that represents a group of one or more application containers. Next thing we can say that a horizontal scalability. So here we can say that these are a 1 pod, 2 pod, pod 3, and if we spread in the form of the horizontal, then we can say that pod 1, pod 2, pod 3, pod 4 and pod 5 will be exist in a horizontal mode. So here a horizontal is also referred as a scale out of the basically the addition of the more machine or a setting of the clusters. In a horizontal scaling, instead of increasing hardware capacity of the individual machine, you add more node to existing clusters, and most importantly, so you can add more machines without the stopping by the system. So here we don't have any downtime or a green zone, nothing by such sort while scaling out. So at the last, to meet your requirement, you will have more machine work in the parallel. So again we can say that what is streaming? We can say that Hadoop streaming is also concept of the MapReduce framework. It is written in a Java and provides the support of the writing MapReduce program in Java. But Hadoop provides an API for writing MapReduce program in language other than Java. So we can say that we will use different types of programming language like R programming, PHP, Perl. We use different types of operating system like Unix streams and use a Hadoop cluster. So what is the Hadoop streaming? Hadoop streaming is the utility that allows us to create and run MapReduce with any script or a executable as a mapper or the reducer. It uses a Unix streams as the interface between the Hadoop and our MapReduce program, so that we can use any language which can read standard input and write to standard output of the write for writing our MapReduce program. Hadoop streaming support the execution of the Java as well as non-Java program MapReduce job executions over the Hadoop cluster. It supports Python, Perl, R, PHP and C programming languages. So we can say that this is the syntax for a Hadoop streaming. We can use Hadoop home, then bin Hadoop jar. Okay, these are a syntax for a streaming. Okay. We also have a different types of topic, but thank you very much. If you face any confusion, then comment me. Thank you.